Hey, Jesse here. One of the most effective ways to break free from 9-to-5 employment in 2026, and the pro web developers, the pro software developers, they won't tell you this because they want to keep their jobs, okay? But the world is changing, whether you like it or not. And I like it because in the past couple of years, I learned the basics of web development, okay? I learned how to write HTML and CSS, blah, blah, blah. And it definitely helps to learn those basic development languages. They're actually very simple. It's not like software programming where there's a lot of complex logic involved. Web development isn't even computer programming. It's just basic code. So now, in 2026, with large language models like Claude Opus 4.5 taking the stage, it's easier than ever to build websites that are worth over $1,000 to actual clients in need of professional level websites. If you're a good self-learner, you can work your way to making $10,000, $20,000 websites for larger scale operations. So the thing is, there's a lot of arguments online about AI right now, right? Is it going to take all of our jobs, etc., etc.? Yeah. Well, with the current tools available, yes, it's so easy to build a website worth $1,000 in a single afternoon or a weekend, okay? And I'm offering a program called the Web Dev Rebellion because we're taking the internet back, right? There's been all these monopolies, and I would even include content management systems like WordPress and Squarespace as these monopolies. And they have a lot of useful tools, but they're mostly becoming obsolete. And most of the plugins, they get outdated quickly, and then your website breaks. You build websites that are extremely bloated and slow loading. If something goes wrong, you actually don't know how to fix it, and these drag and drop block editors actually limit you more than they empower you creatively. So in the Web Dev Rebellion, I teach you my method to build websites that costs you essentially $0, okay? You'll pay for a Cursor subscription, which is about $20 a month. Cursor, if you don't know, is the modern analog of VS Code. It's just built on top of VS Code, which all developers use, and it has all of the language models built in. So Claude is in, Grok, ChatGPT, Gemini, they're all there. Personally, I think Claude Opus is currently the best. Gemini is also extremely powerful for web development. ChatGPT is okay, but you can build a website in an afternoon after about 6 weeks of learning that's worth $1,000. So I'm not sure what's stopping so many people, except the fact that in general, people are ensnared by their own belief systems, right? We are creatures of cultural conditioning. And the cultural conditioning tells us, here's your wage, here's how much you can make per hour. That's all you're worth. But in reality, you should get paid for the amount of value you produce, right? And if 99% of people aren't going to learn, they're not going to learn that you can build $1,000 website in an afternoon. 99.99999% of people will never see this video. They'll never watch a video about web development. In fact, probably 99% of people barely know how to use AI for anything other than what basically they've always done with a Google search, and they should just be doing a search engine search instead of querying ChatGPT to ask how to make pancakes. Okay, so this is about agency in essence, right? Some people have more agency than others. Like it or not, some people have more intelligence than others. And intelligence really is only useful if you are high agency. I think it's Naval who said, intelligence, the only real measure of intelligence is if you get what you want out of life. So if you're working a 9-to-5 job and you're working 40 hours a week for $20 or $40 or $60 an hour, you're wasting your time. You're not getting what you want out of life. And if you hear the passion in my voice, that's good, because I've suffered for the lack of agency in my life at times, okay? And when I was struggling with jobs, largely because of chronic pain, I searched for a different way. And my first real attempt was becoming a woodworker. I tried to make a woodworking business. And the fact is, it's actually very hard to sell handmade wood products at a high enough price point to make it worthwhile to run a wood shop or to rent a wood shop, to buy all the tools and put the hours in. But because I had a website for my woodworking business, Oak Moss, I was paying WordPress hundreds of dollars a year. Every January, I'd have this big chunk of money come out of my bank account and I'd go, oh yeah, right, I'm getting overcharged for a website. What happened to the good old days? Wasn't there a time when it was like a few dollars for a domain name, $15 a year, and then there was some basic tools to make some HTML files, and you upload them and you route the DNS thingamajigs to connect it to the domain name, and there you go, you have a website. So I did my research, I did my homework, and I find out, yes, you can just buy a $15 domain, and there are ways to host it for free, especially a simple static site that doesn't require member login and all the complex stuff, which you can still do that. It's just more likely to require something like a virtual private server, which guess what? Costs probably about $3 a month. So, this is to say, if you want to be ahead of the game in 2026, it's not difficult. The thing is, you're competing with only less than 1% of people, way less than 1% of people are actually going to do something about this, right? Everyone's scrambling, oh no, specialist jobs are being overtaken by AI, what are we going to do? What's left for humans to create that's of value in the marketplace? A lot, actually. And what is of value for humans to do in the marketplace will often require a website. So a lot of people are still going to need websites, professional websites, and they're not going to build them themselves, even though the tools are probably going to get so easy that by 2027, you could just say to your smartphone, build me a site and get it hosted on such and such, bingo, bango, there you go. It's probably going to get that simple. We're not quite there yet. And if you don't learn any HTML and you don't learn some of the basics of how a web browser works and how to use Git or something similar, a different type of version control system, then your vibe-coded website is going to suck. I'm sorry. I've seen some vibe-coded apps, even ones that have done quite well and they've made tens of thousands of dollars. It's all the marketing, right? The app itself is often a little screwy. Now, a lot of those people are going to iterate enough that it'll get polished and it'll be actually a totally viable product. But if someone doesn't know software development and they try to just vibe code it, they're going to break stuff and they're not going to build something of any reasonable complexity, and it's going to get knocked out in the marketplace. Whereas simple static websites that are worth $1,000 to $3,000, it takes about 6 weeks to learn, or less. And if you're a self-taught learner, you could probably fairly quickly, within 6 months, get to the point of making $20,000 websites. Now the hard part is just getting the clients, building a portfolio and having those level of clients. Well, in the town you live in, there's probably some lawn care companies, there's probably some massage clinics, there's probably some artists who need to have a professional portfolio, and they are currently paying hundreds of dollars a year. You can charge them $1,000 one time and then like a $20 a month maintenance fee or a $50 a month maintenance fee because they don't actually have to go to the hassle of building the website. So it's all easy for them. You've taken that problem away from them. And guess what? Now you can go live wherever you want. Here I am in the beautiful Sonoran Desert, just on an adventure. I've been on a trip for about a month now, and I'm doing a series of podcasts with some really cool guests, and I've actually barely spent any money on this trip. For the first month, I shouldn't even tell you, there's like secrets to traveling cheap, okay? But I've spent under $1,000 in like 5 weeks of traveling. That's pretty incredible. I just hiked up to Hole in the Rock at Papago Park here in Arizona. Those geese look like they're Canadian. They're following me. the Web Dev Rebellion course right now, I have on offer for $1,000. Actually, I have it up for $900. Just to show you, look, I'll charge less for you to take this course with a group of other learners than you can make in your first, let's say 2 websites. Let's say you charge your first clients $500 each. I'm not going to try to do the whole pitch where it's like, make your money back with just 2 clients. But that is how it is, okay? Now, if you think I don't know how I would get clients who would pay me, then join the Living Internet Alliance community, a free community. There will be paid tiers of it, but in the free community, there are people who will help you learn sales and persuasion and social skills. And then suddenly, guess what? You're in the 1%. You're in the 1% of people who can build wealth on their own terms. You don't even have to be a millionaire. To be in the top 1% of wealth, maybe. But it depends on how you define wealth, because to me, it's about time freedom. And if you can make $1,000 every weekend, and you just put a couple of hours a day throughout the week into client acquisition processes, guess what? You're free from your 9 to 5, and you can travel like I am and have time freedom. So look in the description for the links. If you made it this far in the video, this is for you. You want time freedom. You want digital skills that give you the leverage that almost nobody is going to acquire anytime soon. And you want to be able to afford the life you want. Okay, so that's all I've really got to say. It's not complicated. I wish I was a little better at sales so I could make sure that you get the benefit of this. I want you to, if you made it this far in the video, go to the link in the description and register for the Web Dev Rebellion. We're beginning the next round on January 23rd, 2026. It's a 6-week program with 4 live calls with a group of other learners, and there's going to be a maximum of 5 spots. Now, I don't know for sure if I'm going to run the Web Dev Rebellion again, because am I really passionate about web design? No. I'm passionate about helping people live life on their terms and build something of their own. So even my woodworking website, oakmoss.ca, I built that on my own. It's a pretty decent website. I would have easily had to pay someone over $1,000 for it. And if I need to make adjustments, most of the adjustments that I need to make take me about 2 minutes. And it's live. There it goes. After this next round of the Web Dev Rebellion, I'm probably going to launch my second round of my program called the Creative Wayfinder, which also might interest you, but that'll be a separate video. It's an 8-week initiation to tap into your creative power. And as you can tell, this video is unscripted. So I've done a lot of work to learn how to improvise and spontaneously produce creative speeches, to produce creative videos, to produce creative websites, to produce creative wood art. And I love my life, okay? I want you to love your life as well. And tapping into your creative power and developing agency is the meta skill that will keep you wealthy, as a lot of people are losing their jobs and unsure what to do. Register now.